Quantum League is a new first-person arena competitive shooter out of Nimble Giant Entertainment that came out just about a week ago on May the 26th, and I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to stream this game as the developers over at Nimble Giant Entertainment were kind enough to give me a Steam key so I could cover this game a little bit. So if you missed the stream, I will link it down below if you want to check it out. If you want more things like that, be sure to let me know. Also, remember that if you enjoyed today's video, leave it a nice, juicy, and delicious like, and never forget to subscribe if you want more content just like this. So let's talk about Quantum League. What is Quantum League? What makes it so different? Because on the surface, it does look like Fortnite or Overwatch, just cloned and put into a smaller scale. Well, I will tell you that it is very, very different. I'm going to go over the modes of the game, how it works, and then I want to get a little bit into the gunplay and some things that I would like to see from the game. So first of all, let's talk about the modes. There's a 1v1 mode and there's a 2v2 mode. Now in the 1v1 mode, you do have ranked, you have casual, and you have newcomer. Newcomers for people who are brand new to the game. Casual is what most people I imagine are going to be playing, and then ranked is obviously competitive play against people of a similar skill level. But what makes the actual gameplay different? Because a lot of games have those settings where you have casual versus ranked and things like that. This game is a time travel shooter. So when you think of the 1v1, imagine it's something similar to Gunfight in Modern Warfare, except once you have the 15-second time limit run out, you actually time travel backwards, and then when you hit the second round, a clone of what you did in the first round will go forward and do the exact same things that you did, but you can play off of that and try to work the arena in your favor. If, say, your clone gets desynced, which is the same as getting killed, you can try and prevent that from happening by killing the other person's player one before they kill your player one. When you get desynced, you actually get to move around and keep trying to do things that you think could benefit you in the future. So if you can prevent yourself from being desynchronized in the past, then you can keep fighting and moving forward, and maybe that could be the difference in you taking the objective in the middle of the map, or it could be the difference in you losing the round. So it's a very interesting gameplay concept, and I definitely had a ton of fun with it, and I think you guys would as well. There's definitely no room to complain about teammates because you're your only teammate in this specific mode. Now when you get in the 2v2, which I actually prefer, but let me explain why. So it obviously involves the same mechanics. You do get the time travel elements, except you have one other person on your team. And the reason I like that is because in the 1v1, everything is very predictable. You can pretty easily predict what is going to happen inside the game, and that's fine. A lot of people like that kind of shooter where you can predict and outthink people. It's an interesting aspect, but in the 2v2, having a teammate means you're adding an element of randomness. Now, if you're in party chat with that teammate and you're coordinating things, then obviously you do have an advantage there. I think it's like that in most games in general, but if you're just playing with randoms and you come across with another player in the 2v2s, well, there is that element of randomness. So you have to try and coordinate, not just with your past selves in the game and trying to set things up in the future. You also have to try and work with what the other guy is doing and be aware of what he's doing, as well as the past selves of your enemies and everything that they're doing along with their live selves. It's a very interesting mode that I think has a bit more to it just because you have those elements of randomness in there, and I really enjoy the 2v2 for that reason. Now there is one thing I would like to see in the 2v2, and that would be a bit more time on the timer. They do raise it from 15 to 18 seconds, and that's nice, but it feels like there's not enough time to maybe go around and get a nice flank. Now it could be by design if they want that more competitive style to be more head on, but there's a lot of opportunities on these maps for flanks, and if you maybe have 30 seconds instead of 18, there could be a lot of really cool moments where you clear out the server on your own without having to worry about the time warping you all the way back. Now technologically, I don't know if they're able to extend it past a certain time, because obviously we're recording what all the players are doing, so there could be a lot of complexity to that. Again, I'm not sure, but that is something I would have liked to see. Now getting into the gunplay, because there is some depth to the gunplay. Obviously you have the various different weapons. You have a rifle, an SMG, a grenade launcher, a shotgun, and a laser rifle. Personally, I love the laser rifle, and I honestly need to use it more, but these weapons do have some depth to them. It's not too much because there are no attachments, which I think could be something interesting to add, even if it's maybe 1 or 2 attachment options. I definitely think there is some depth to the gunplay. Things like the rifle and the SMG, obviously they tighten up their spread as you aim down sights, but they do have a random spread pattern, whereas you have something like the shotgun, which keeps the exact same spread pattern no matter what. When you zoom in, it tightens, but when you're hip firing, it's regular spread pattern. But even when you zoom in, that pattern stays the same pattern. The pellets are going to hit in the same way. And then of course you have the grenade launcher. You don't really have to worry about that. And then the laser beam. It's a laser beam, but it is ranged. There is only a certain range you can really use it, at least that's what I've found. It's definitely a nice selection of weapons. There is some depth to the gunplay. You really do have to learn how to utilize and control each of these weapons in order to use them properly and be successful with them. In my opinion, just off of my experience, the rifle and the shotgun were probably the more powerful and most useful weapons, especially on PC. The rifle is going to be very popular. But beyond that, the gunplay, it's not too deep because you have to think the scope of this game isn't too big, but it is fun. It is easy to pick up and use, and you definitely have to be able to control the recoil and, you know, learn how to use each weapon as they're supposed to be used. And of course, you can do things like coordinate with your past selves to use a grenade launcher and try to keep objectives clear and whatnot, but it is very interesting and it is deep for what it is nonetheless. Now, there is one thing I do want to mention before we go here, and that is that there is friendly fire in this game. So if you do shoot your clones, they will take damage, so that will have an effect. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Do not team kill your own clones. Otherwise, you're just hurting your own team and you're that noob that you always complain about. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely try out Quantum League if it does look interesting to you. I know a lot of you guys like those more competitive style shooters, so I think you might enjoy this. If you like gunfight and modern warfare, you like things like Overwatch and other shooters like that, then I think you will really enjoy this game. Again, it's only 16 bucks on Steam right now. I believe they have a sale going on, so I would check that out, especially if you're a PC player. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.